today with me it's a Cameron Brown, and he's having this amazing app where you can find live events around your city or wherever you are traveling, because sometimes, you may not know where to go. Hi, Cameron. Thank you very much for coming.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Could you maybe tell us a little bit maybe about your background, maybe about yourself, and after transfer a little bit about this app development, what you have, and what are your plans with these ideas, what you have?
It's kind of funny that I'm working on this app because most of my experience is in the pharmaceutical industry. I used to manage drug development studies, and I still do that in a certain extent from the IT context now. I was kind of brought in. My co-founder, Caleb Hartley, had this idea that we could kind of post events on a map and then all of us could see them. Everybody that had the app could look on and see, oh, look, Cameron's doing something over here today. But that was a little, as fun as that is, that kind of applies to smaller situations, right? Smaller communities, it kind of makes sense. But we wanted to think a little bit more broadly about that. So when we started looking into what events are happening all the time around us, I mean, there's a tremendous number. So where I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, it seems like there might be one or two things that happen a week. There are really probably between 20 to 30 different events every day, notwithstanding the weekend where, that number goes up significantly. So we wanted to build a platform that allows people to post those events on the map in real time, and then users like you or me that are either looking for something to do or maybe trying to plan out like a Thursday date night or something could use our app, find where it is, find its location, get the information about that event, things that are going on, what we can bring, and then as well invite and share that event with other people. So we have a functionality where you can upload public events. Let's say, you're wandering around and you see an art festival happening in the park and you didn't know it was there, and you pull up the app. You can add that onto the app for the art festival, if they're not using the app, and then invite your friends to do it. You can also do it privately, where if you have a birthday or something, you can add that event, share it with your friends, and then it would only show up for you, but it would also still be on the map. You'd be able to interact with it. You'd be able to find it easier.
Let's say I'm in here in UK, so in here is a bigger platform which is online. I'm not sure if they have an app. Maybe they do. I don't know. It's called like Eventbrite.
Okay.
Where you go and you are like, okay, I'm in Edinburgh. I want a property networking event. What's happening? And it will show me some ideas. So how, for example, your app will be different than, for example, Eventbrite? What would be the better than that, for example?
So far, we're the first company to have a live event locator in real time on a map. So Eventbrite, for example, they're much larger as a company. So they have a lot more sponsorships, a lot more partnerships, right? So people have uploaded those. The idea is that we can put those sorts of events on our map. The main difference between our focus with events and something like an Eventbrite, or I don't know if you guys have Ticketmaster, that's pretty big over here in America. Those are much larger events, usually ticketed. The idea here is that we can find those more local events that can help people interact with their community, engage with people that they live around, or engage with communities that maybe they're not from. Maybe you travel somewhere for work and you have a couple days to hang out. You can find things to do in that community, kind of get a sense of the feel of the city, the parks, little festivals, things like that. The focus is a little more intimate, I would say.
I'm for example, I was hosting this year and last year some events, and I used Eventbrite just to have it there. To be honest, it didn't make any difference to me. I mean, I think there was only one or two people booked through that, unless you kind of promote yourself in another way, like marketing wise. And my event was for free. It was like £1 entry. Just I have the name and details. So having something where you can share those things, like I'm now planning also to do some networking event in here and around where I live, which is like a smaller area. It's not the big city or anything like that. And so to have something where I can tell people to, book for the next time. So my idea would be something like if that app work worldwide, so I can use it. I can schedule the event. Firstly, I can obviously it'll be word of the mouth. I can tell them like, okay, people come along. and have a big banner and say like, okay, guys, for next time, download this app because, you know, I'll be announcing where I'm there. I'm not going to be sending you message by message to every one of you because it's time consuming. I'll just announce it on this app. You all have this app. So you'll see, it'll give them a notification if they are like following you or something.
One of the cool things about our app. So let's say, you know, you get the app, you create your profile, and you become a host. So then you start hosting those events that you were just talking about. As you host those events, people can follow you specifically, and then they can find, you know, the next time you have an event, hopefully you have, you know, everyone that's attending those events that are interested in going there, that are kind of tracking you. They'll also be able to see those events pop up on their feed, and they'll say, hey, you know, I want to go and see what's going on there, or they can plan it out in the future. So that way you can link the user and the host. And that doesn't necessarily mean the host has to be a business. The host can be really anybody that hosts events or posts events on the map.
For example, my wife, she's organizing like a Christmas party for home educating families, which is close by. And obviously what they had to do, create a Facebook group. Now, you know, it can be messy with a lot of messages, like if there's 15 different people. So it's like, shall I read it all? What is in there? Is there anything important? Next year, you can imagine like there'll be, I don't know, some people move out, some people move in. So you need to invite those and get rid of those which are not there anymore. So it's not confusing. Sure. So if you would have it in one app where people knows that they can use it for those things. So that'll be very good. You know, like when you are saying about those non-paid events, like we do, there is a lot of things like that going on around us where, you know, they have a meetup, like, I don't know, the wild swimming going on, which usually goes on the Facebook groups. But the thing is, sometimes it could be missed very easily. So I can imagine if there is an app which gives you notification, if I would have a notification, sometimes I miss that. I wanted to go wild swimming. There's something new. It was like, they're like wild swimming, especially for men. I'm like, okay, it'll be good to meet some people who goes, because usually it's all women. So it's not like I like to watch men more than women at all. It's more like just see, you know, like if also men goes for wild swimming, because it's more like women thing. And I've been on that and I've seen it, but I didn't put it in my calendar. I was busy, so I didn't, you know, schedule it. And the next day I've seen the post, like, you know, photos, and it happened. I'm like, oh, so it's next month again. I need to wait. And if I would get the notification, like, it's happening tonight because I follow them, I'll be like, cool. So I can still go.
Yeah. And I mean, we're working pretty seriously on the notification so that we can send those reminders as well. At the moment, I get a daily reminder to check the events going on around me. And I mean, it's even helped me find events that I probably wouldn't consider even going to, just because I don't really know about them. And if you don't know about something, you're probably not going to know to look up, you know, what's going on. So it's fun to kind of see what pops up around me and consider, you know, I don't really jump into art festivals very much, or, you know, I don't really go to farmers markets. But then, you know, it's there. I don't have anything to do. Quick date with the girlfriend. We go to a farmer's market, you know, then we go to an art festival, and then day set.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Like when you mentioned farmer's market, there is farmers market every week in where I live. Like there's all farms around us. There's all sorts of events going on all the time. Yeah.
And to that point, once we started loading the farmers markets, there's a farmers market about every 2 miles away from us. So in every direction. So, I mean, there are 50 farmers markets now we can put on the map.
You just need to find out where is the best meat and veg.
One of the most interesting things I like about the platform is that because we're focusing on events and, you know, local companies and local interaction, these are things that usually you wouldn't see marketed, maybe, you know, in a newspaper or online or somewhere. You kind of have to dig to find them. So this gives a platform for people that, or for businesses that don't necessarily want to compete with, you know, the marketing incentives, that they can still get their event out there and still try and help people come to their event and have a good time.
You're right, because it's very difficult to, when you are marketing yourself, because the competition is high, and they're doing it for a while, so they have more money to invest into marketing. So even though you said it to yourself, like, okay, I can invest £500 or dollars a month to see if I can get any people, but in reality, is like, you know, the rest, they are investing so much. So, for example, I have a business which is, we do have a service accommodation management company. And one of the things is we want to have a more direct bookings. So what would mean that we need to invest into marketing So our platform, where2stay.co.uk, it's people go there and they book it. But the thing is, Booking.com and Airbnb, they invest hundreds of thousands of dollars a day into marketing. So how can we compete with them? So we cannot really compete with them with the money because it's very difficult. They are on a higher level. We can always do things. It's just for the smaller person who is starting out, it's good to have something where people can see it and he can stand out. So I think it's a very good idea. Yeah.
That brings up a good point. I was looking through some data the other day, and companies on average spend about 8% of their revenue a year in marketing. So, I mean, that might not seem like a lot depending on how big the company is, but when you consider some of these companies that are hosting these events that are massive, it's a drop in the bucket to market for their one event, once a month or whatever. So we're hoping to kind of, I don't want to say necessarily level the playing field, because the idea there isn't necessarily that everyone blows up and then, we have people flying across the country for our farmers markets. But it's to give a platform for the people in their communities to interact and to grow their businesses locally. And then if they go that big, then that's great.
That'll be good. I mean, even for example, if I go for the holidays and I like to buy from farmers market, or we like to buy quality food. So if we go on holidays and people are using it, and I can just check like, okay, is there anything around me where I can go, which will be more interesting than just to go to, I don't know, Tesco. So, and they'll show me some options. So they'll be definitely beneficial for me when I even travel, because I don't know where to go when I travel. So, and it takes a research for you to be like, where really, and Google everything, and it all takes time. So so it's very good. So what would you think at the moment? When have you started with that actually? How long is that in development or already live?
We were able to push out our live app back in May. We have a large list of items that we're updating currently, because once we pushed it, we realized we need to go a little different direction. You kind of always do that, I guess, when you're building a new product. So we've kind of been incrementing it since May. It's available on the App Store now. We just redesigned the map, and we're also going through a whole redesign of the app in general. So to make it a little more user-friendly, such that, it looks a little prettier. And then we also have a couple things that we want to roll out. One's a points-based reward system. That'll be pretty cool. That allows people to kind of, gain, we're going to call them probably charted tickets over time by attending events, by doing certain things, to promote the app, to add pictures, that sort of stuff. And then in the end, that we want that to circle back to give, discounts to people to attend those events in the future. We can have it so that events can offer more points, so that people can then get more discounts in the future by attending those events, certain things like that. So we're kind of teasing out all the little fine details right now of what we want the final app to look like, and how that PBR system kind of works in there. So the idea is to keep it as free as possible for as long as possible for the user.
I mean, I think the bonus and point system, it will definitely work really well, because there are people who are more active, and they tend to host more events, or they visit more events. And like you said, like take a photo, post on social media, tag us. I don't know what it'll be you want to do, or you collaborate with us, you get the extra points or whatever it is. And it can promote, obviously, your business and also help to promote their business. So if I would want to, for example, myself, host an event, I can just post it over there, and I'll share the location, and it's going to show everything, like you said, the location finder. If I share it with people, so they can find it very easily. And you said that you're working on notification at the moment. So would they know? Or did they get anything at the moment? Like, let's say it's coming, today, or.
So let's say you went to post an event. So you would choose, it's pretty easy. There's a little plus icon at the bottom, and you'll see it when you get that uploaded. And then you get a selection to do either a private or a public event. And then you can choose whether you want anyone that has the app to find it, or if you just want, your select friends. Once you decide that, you invite your friends. If they're not there, you'll need to share it with them. And then they'll get a link to download the app as well. And then they can go and interact, and you can add them. You guys can follow each other back. And then they'll be able to see your event. If it's private, it will only show up for you two, or however many people you invite to the app. but it will still show up on the map with
Mm.
all the other icons that you might see. Now, since you're in England, what we do in Indiana right now is we go through and we add events ourselves. And then there are other people, that have downloaded the app that upload events as well. So for you over the water, you might not see any of the events that we post yet, but anyone else that would download the app, post their events, you would see all that.
Okay, that's good. So yeah, so I'll definitely try it because I'm planning to do some host a little networking event. I'm not sure if I'll manage to do it this year because I'm expecting a third baby, but yeah, it'll be soon. So if it's not this year, I'll start the next year. And I want to see the difference and what it can bring, and also I'm happy to share with people and mention on social media and everything because I think it's a cool idea. So yeah, why not to share with others?
Yeah, it's a really fun time because as we continue to update and iterate, we kind of see the value continue to tease out as we go. So that's been a lot of fun. One thing that we're always looking for is feedback. So if you download the app or any of your viewers download the app and they have anything, definitely reach out to us because we are constantly trying to improve the app to make it not only simple to use, but efficient.
What do you think it's at the moment like your biggest challenge with this app? Like what would you think?
I mean, just from a small business standpoint, probably resources. I handle all the operations, the management, a lot of the design, and then Caleb handles entirely all of the coding. So we're kind of a two-man team. We have a couple others in there that help out as well from time to time. But definitely resources. It's been one of those tremendous opportunities where we're kind of constantly learning, and constantly updating. And we realize, ideas that we had 4 months ago that seemed like they would just control the app and people would love just flopped, right? I roll it out and then I have, 20 people that say, hey, what do I do here? Why does it look like this? And I go, we thought this was going to look so different. So those are probably the biggest challenges. We're currently working on our pitch deck now so we can try and get ready for seed funding. That's going to be some time away. So obviously, there's still a lot of time, a lot of development in there, but realistically, if we can continue to iterate the app such that it becomes, as simple and easy and beautiful to use as we want, and just have that strong platform, then we want to continue working with people. And as more people use the app, as more users download and start finding things, then we want to watch that snowball.
Cool. Thank you very much for sharing and for your honesty. There are people who are, thinking to start their own business. I coach people in property and also like a business startups when they want to start their business. So, and it's good to see that, because sometimes you have people who are, I had also an interview a guy who's 7 years in business. His businesses are all over the world. So he's very successful, and it was amazing interview with him. But also for a lot of people, he's very far away. So a lot of people cannot imagine how is it. So it's good that you are sharing this because people need to see the real thing. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes work. You need to adapt. And you are saying you are two-man band, so which is good. It's just good. I've been like that for a long time as well. Just this year we hired some employees, but the beginnings are like that. And yeah, it's very good that you are sharing that. Thank you.
You're going to be embarrassed. You're going to be scared a little bit, but you just push forward. Really, the most important thing for us is the consistency. We show up every day. We still have a plan. Even if, our design doesn't work out or we code and, all of a sudden there's a bug or there's something goes wrong, right? Every day there's probably something we could have done a little bit better, but we just keep working on it and it just keeps getting better. The app looks tremendously different than when we released it in May. We're listening to what people are telling us. We're trying to make it, that easy, efficient little app that can find any event you want.
It's very good. Important is that you started and now you are improving it. You have a skin in the game. You are doing it, and it will definitely all work out if you stick to it. That's for sure. If you have a good idea and good execution, so I don't see any problem with that. Yeah.
You kind of keep hinting at it here, or just kind of outrightly saying it. It's the difference is action. It's once we decided to take that first step, the second step was a little easier, and now we're so many steps in, we can't go back.
Usually I do it at the end. Like, is there anything you would want to share? My audience is usually people who, as I mentioned, they want to start a business. I coached people for a property for a very long time, but the thing is, I realized not everybody wants to learn about property. They have their own ideas, what they want to pursue. What would be like one or two tips? What would you recommend to people who are just starting out to do or not to do if they want to start? And maybe they are, working, maybe they have some idea in their head, but they are not sure how to go about it.
How to even go about it. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing, right? I mean, the first thing that I would say is just devote yourself, embrace the pain of learning, because you're going to have to learn. There are the nuances of just starting a business here in the US that we had to traverse. I mean, there are different ways we could start an LLC, we could start an S corp. It kind of depends on where we are. There are things that make differences based on taxes, right? You have to dive into all of that. So and that's just with starting the business. That doesn't have anything to do with the programs that we're using, that I've had to learn how to use in a month, just so that we could start pushing some of these designs.
Yeah.
The whole process, you're just constantly growing and learning. You're going to learn about your weaknesses. Those are going to become very apparent. So embrace that. It's fun, the personal growth. And then maybe the second most important thing is when you start to take those steps, try and surround yourself with the right people, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean the people that you're working with in the company that you start the company with. While that's really important, I mean, the mentors, the friends, the people in your circle that you can have those conversations with, because I have friends and mentors that I can call up and say, hey, with Charted, this is I kind of keep seeing this happen. How should I rethink this data? Because you really can't do it alone, and it does require a team.
I think it's very important to, like you mentioned, to surround you with people who are already achieving something, or they are in that same like-minded mindset, so you can learn from each other, even if they do different thing, but they can see it from their perspective, so they can give you some different hints and points of views, which you can utilize in your business. And it's very important, because whoever you spend time with is whoever you become. And that's true for sure. I really like it. Yeah. So thank you very much, Cameron, for being here today, and I was so glad to have you and meet you and to hear about your application. I'm excited to try it myself on my phone and see. I'll give you feedback for sure. If you want to share with me information about the app, actually I have it on the phone, but if you have any other link you would want to share, you then follow you on your social media site. So you will send me a message. I'll put the link in the description so people can check you out. And thank you very much.
We're on Facebook. We'll send you that. And then we also have our website. So you'll get both of those. So yeah, I greatly appreciate the time and the questions to dive into this. Thank you so much.